Thank you so much for attending our 8th grade night. My name is Mrs. Jones and I am one of the counselors here at Smyrna High School. We are so excited to welcome the class of 2029. And during tonight's 20-minute session, we are going to review how to complete your course request form for your freshman high school classes. Now, before we get started, I do want to mention that tonight you might walk away feeling a little bit overwhelmed because this is a lot of information that we are giving out. We want to assure you that you can find all of this information that you hear tonight on various places on the SHS website. For instance, this actual presentation, the course form that we're going to be discussing, the 8th grade handbook, all of those things can be found on the course selections website, which is under the counseling tab of the SHS website. So make sure if you want to kind of review some of the information, go to the counseling tab of the SHS website and just peruse and see what all you can find. Speaking of that, one of the things that you will find on that SHS website under the counseling tab is the 8th grade handbook. Now, this handbook is a one-stop for information, and it has just about everything that your student is going to need for getting prepared for high school. We encourage both students and parents to review this handbook. Now, let's get into the registration process. All students are going to be registering for classes this year using a Google form, and we are going to post the QR code to this form at the end of our presentation. We will also be sending the QR code to the counselors at each middle school. When you go to fill out this form, students are going to be choosing classes for each of the core subject areas, and then they're going to be ranking their preferred classes for CTE, which stands for Career and Technical Education, their preferred classes for Fine Arts, and World Language. On the video tonight, I'm going to walk through each section of the Google form. So refer back to this video as often as you need while you're completing your Google course selection form. We should also mention that over the next 2 weeks, SHS counselors will be visiting Smyrna Middle School, Rocky Fork Middle School, Stewart's Creek Middle School, and Thurman Francis Arts Academy to meet with each student and discuss their completed Google form. Now, students, please listen up. Before we come to your middle school, it is extremely important that you have already completed your online course selection form. We don't want to fill out the online course selection form during the meeting. We want you to do that ahead of time. During the meeting, we're going to review your responses. We're going to answer any questions that you have. We're going to make changes if we need to make changes. But we want you to have already put your time and thought into completing the course selection form prior to us coming to your middle school. Now, if you're currently at a middle school other than the ones that I just mentioned, you can still complete the course selection registration form using the provided QR code. If needed, you can email your high school counselor with any questions, and we will be glad to help you. For all students, once we have your form, we will enter your requested courses into Skyward. That would take place after the one-on-one meeting. But know that your high school schedule is not going to be visible until freshman orientation night in August. Now, your course request form is designed to ensure that you're meeting your graduation requirements, that you have a full 8-period schedule, and that we also know your preferences. What are the classes that you want to be in and that you would like to take? We do try to put students in their top choices, especially when it comes to those career and technical classes, fine arts classes, and world language classes. But due to class size, we do have to use backup options at times. So we cannot guarantee that you'll get your top choice, but we do work hard to review your options and place you in classes in the order that you have listed on your online course request form. Now, for many of our core subjects, such as math and English, science, social studies, we will have the option of standard or advanced honors classes. Please remember, advanced honors courses will move at a faster pace, and they're going to require more work, both inside and outside of the classroom. But we do recommend advanced honors classes in subjects where your student has strong grades and good test scores. So look at that with your student as they are choosing their level for standard or advanced honors. For students with an IEP that will require an inclusion class, our special education staff will review all middle school IEPs, and they will send us a list of students that need to be moved into an inclusion section of our core classes. So please don't worry, that will be taken care of. Course descriptions for each of our courses can be found in your 8th grade handbook or on the RCS Course Descriptions Handbook that's on the SHS website. Now, all freshmen are going to be signing up for 5 core classes, and these core classes are English, math, science, social studies, and wellness. These classes will take 5 of the 8 spots on their schedule. Now, let's look at the options within those 5 core classes. For graduation, you are required to have 4 credits of English, which you will take all 4 years of high school. Math, again, 4 credits. Science, 3 credits are required. In English, you will choose between Standard and Advanced Honors English 1. In math, if you're currently taking Algebra 1 for a high school credit, then we would ask you to please choose Geometry Advanced Honors. In science, most of our 9th graders will take Environmental Science or Advanced Honors Environmental Science. If you excel in science and you want to take a higher level science course your sophomore and your junior year, you can choose to skip environmental science and go straight to advanced honors biology. But please note, by choosing advanced honors biology as a freshman, you are ensuring that you will be taking higher level science courses your sophomore and junior years. Now, continuing in the core class options, we have social studies and wellness. All freshmen will also take social studies and wellness. For social studies, you will need 3 credits to graduate. For your 9th grade year, your options are World History, which is only offered as a standard class, or World Geography AP, or Advanced Placement. AP means that at the end of the course, you will take a test in which you could earn college credit. It's based on a college level textbook. If a student chooses to take an AP class, they should have exceptional reading and writing skills. So those are the options for social studies. Now, students are also required to take 1 year of health and wellness in addition to a half a credit of PE. That half a credit of PE will be taken in 10th grade. Wellness is required for graduation, so we give freshman students the option between wellness and JROTC. Now, it is possible that coaches may request athletes to be moved into a wellness athletics program, which would still count for the wellness credit towards graduation. But we will make these moves once team rosters are set and we receive those from the coaches. So for right now, on your course selection form, we would like for you to simply choose between wellness and JROTC. If you would like to know the differences between these 2 classes, please review the 8th grade handbook, as they both have a detailed description. Now, the last 3 credits of the freshman schedule are going to come from a combination of career and technical classes, fine arts classes, and possibly a world language class. So let's go ahead and discuss these options, and then we're going to look at how you would choose them on your form. Students do need 3 credits in one pathway in order to meet graduation requirements, and many students choose their pathway from a career and technical education class, a CTE class. Most of our pathway options have a video linked on the course selections page, and they also all have a course description in the handbook. But we do have 2 fairly new pathways, fashion design and cosmetology. Neither of those pathways has a video yet, but they do have a description if you would like to read about them in the course descriptions handbook. So many of our freshmen will actually try 2 or 3 career pathways to complete their schedule. Additionally, freshmen can take one or more fine arts class. So the offerings for freshmen with fine arts are band, orchestra, choir, drama, visual arts, or dance. Now, students do need one fine art credit for graduation, and you can take that as a freshman, or you can wait and do that fine art class later. Additionally, students can take as many fine arts as they desire. If your student enjoys fine arts, there's no limit for how many fine arts classes they can request for their schedule. And then finally, let's talk about world language. Now, you do need 2 credits of the same world language for graduation, and freshmen are welcome to select a world language as one of their elective classes. However, these world language spots do go to juniors and sophomores first. So if spots are available once we are creating the schedule and a freshman is asked for a world language, then they'll be placed in that class. But if a spot is not available, then they will simply just wait until their sophomore year. Most students do not start their world language until their sophomore year, but we do give you an option if you would like to request it as a freshman. So when you're looking at your Google form, completing the second half of the form, this is where you're going to choose your career pathway classes and your fine arts and world language electives. Now, students will be placed in 3 of these classes to complete their freshman schedule. They have the 5 core classes and 3 of these from this list. And what we're going to do is we ask students to rank their top 8 courses from the list provided. This list includes all CTE, all fine arts, and all world language options, so it's a very long list. To complete the freshman schedule, we try to put students in their top 3 elective choices, but based on class size, we do often have to go to backup choices. So students, please make sure that you really think about your 4th preference and 5th preference, etc. Additionally, based on middle school data, we do have to place some students in Tier 3 classes. If your student needs a Tier 3 class, which would be extra support in English or math, we would replace their lowest ranked elective class in their schedule. Students, please know, counselors really do review your rankings. So we want you to put a lot of thought into these choices. At Smyrna High School, we do not allow schedule changes once the schedules are complete. So please only mark classes that you are actually interested in taking. Now, as we're wrapping up our PowerPoint portion of the presentation, I want to go over a few things with you that are important next steps. As mentioned previously, we highly encourage both you and your student to read the 8th grade handbook. We need you to complete your course selection form prior to the counselors coming to your school for a visit. And then finally, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to your high school counselor. Because we're not in our offices right now during this time of registration and student meetings, email is our preferred method of contact. If you call us, it might be several days before we are back in our offices and able to hear your voicemail and return your call, but we will be able to access our email much more quickly. So I've posted on here not only the QR code, but also the emails for each of the counselors here at Smyrna High School. Again, you can take a picture of this right now with your phone, but this presentation is linked on the Smyrna High School website. Now, in our last minute or 2 that we have, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Google form that is going to be sent to your student when they click on the QR code. This is what that Google form looks like. It says, Class of 29 course selection. And the first thing that we're going to ask them to do is simply fill out their information, their school email, their last name, and their first name. After that, I'm going to scroll. You will see they will have the option to choose their core classes. So remember, you want to review with them if they would like a standard class or an advanced honors class. And they're going to go in and choose that for each of their core classes. Once they have made those core class decisions, then they're going to go in and begin looking at the electives. Now, I do want to mention, and we've got a little note right here, Computer Science Foundation is a required course for graduation, and we do put it on many freshman schedules. I don't know whether or not we've put it in this form. It doesn't look like we have. So probably what would happen is if for some reason your student is not able to get into some of their preferred electives, they might end up with a computer science as one of their 3 electives. And we're just letting you know that is a required course for graduation. So it's not a waste of your time by any means. So taking a look at this, I mentioned the list is extremely long that they're going to be choosing from. It begins with our CTE offerings, our career and technical offerings. And then in the middle, you have your fine arts offerings. And then at the end, you have your world language. So what we would like for our students to do is take a look at that list, and the class that they want the very most is what they should put as their first preference. So if they really want to be in fashion design and that is their number 1 choice, then that's what they would pick first. And if their second choice is culinary arts, then they would put that second. We're going to have them look at this list and choose a course of preference 8 times. So they're going to rank their top 8 preferred electives. Finally, at the end of the form, there are 2 spots where you can list like extra information. Is there a class that you need that's not listed? And do you have any questions? Notice both of these are not required for you to be able to submit the form, but if you've got anything that you would like to tell us in this section or this section, please type it in and we will discuss it during that one-on-one meeting. Finally, students and parents, please note a copy of your responses will be emailed to the address that you provided up at the top of the form. So when you hit submit, not only will the counselors receive your requests, but you will also receive a copy of your requests. Please remember, students, we need you to fill out this form prior to the counselors coming to your school in the next couple of weeks. Students and parents, thank you so much for your attention during this presentation. We are really looking forward to having you here at Smyrna High School and working with you on creating a great freshman year and a great 4-year experience. Thank you so much for your time tonight.